I wish I knew this was gonna happen. Yeah, press the button, and I'm not sure how I'm supposed to make this go away. Okay, there we go. Oh, finally, into the game. It's like we missed whatever happened before the minions spawned, but now we see Don Caruana invading with little priority and also just being underleveled in general, and this invade is going to end up in disaster for the jungler, as well as the bot lane, as now Don Caruana is also getting chased down. The support is already dead, and that's just going to be the extra Twin Fang followed by a flash away from the turret. And that's Eternal Ether already with 2 early kills to his name, which is really not very good for La Mafia. Let's just leave it at that. I think this will bite them in the laning phase. Nautilus will basically just be able to hook people on command, and then Cassiopeia will just DPS them down even quicker now. But when it comes to the history of UNL teams, it's kind of funny because a lot of the time, the teams don't really... the rosters don't really stay in one piece from season to season. Usually we see a lot of players moving around, kind of a closed circle where people just move from one team to the next, but I think when it comes to individual players, Eternal Ether is one player that has had a lot of success in UNL. Season 2 champion with Allegiant, then Season 5 champion most recently with Awful Aquarium, and also reached the final in Season 4 with Azure Dragons. So plenty of success there for Eternal Ether, as we see once again another jungle gank from the Juicy Boys, just completely abusing the summoner-less Swain. La Mafia not off to a good start in the bottom lane, and Warwick doing what he's supposed to. Not really focused on the clearing, mostly just focused on the early ganks wherever a chance presents itself, and then also the objective control. Warwick is very good at taking those early dragons and sustain through all of the damage. Very easy to solo these objectives. If you have the help of your support, then it gets even easier. Yeah, so that's been the story of this game so far. The bot lane of La Mafia being punished by the haphazard invade from Don Caruana, and then the dominoes just start falling for them. Cassiopeia, when she's accelerated like this, it's going to be quite hard for La Mafia to fight in the mid game. Now, obviously, you could argue that there's a little bit of a stylistic mismatch, potentially in the late game encounters. If the Victor can get going, and then the Kindred as well as the Lux, then the range advantage comes into play. But right now, if the Juicy Boys can just continue to force correctly in situations like this, then the gold advantage will just be too high, the dragon fights will go their way, and I think there's not a lot that La Mafia will be able to do. Just keep in mind that Kindred is not the best champion when played from behind. I think Swain also suffers quite a lot when he doesn't have those items. But now we see Samwise Gumtree in a big fight against the Shen. Don Cunningham has to run away because he sees the jungler coming. He does not want to be involved in that. Now, to Lamafia's credit, they are staying quite even when it comes to these CS numbers, but obviously the gold is swayed heavily in the Juicy Boys' favor still because of those 2 kills and the 2 assists that the Cassiopeia has. It's probably just going to be... Well, I'm actually not quite sure what Eternal Ether wants to go for here. The Amplifying Tome suggests to me that it's just going to be Liandry's Anguish, but we'll see what happens. That was Gumtree TPs straight to lane. Will the Juicy Boys just attempt this dive outright? They were thinking about it, but they decide against it. I feel like that was quite risky to attempt there. Don Simeone with a nice flash, but Eternal Ether does not get caught by that light binding. And now Lamb's Respite is just going to heal everyone in that circle, but it's a 1v1 trade so far. And Don Caruana dies once again to the Cassiopeia. So not the best result coming out from that gank. Don Caruana wanted to help there, but yeah, as it stands, does not really have the items to really make a difference. El Mapache once again trying to gank top here. Very nice infinite duress into... Wow, that was really nicely dodged from Shen, and now TP from Victor. He comes to the rescue. It's a shutdown for Don Cunningham, and yeah, the Juicy Boys definitely did not think this one through 100%. The Mafia still had that TP, were able to respond to the play immediately, but now the Hall Jr. could be in trouble. Shen ult comes in just for the extra shield, but the Vex will survive with less than 100 health. And now Don Caruana just jumping into the Raptor Pit without really thinking of the consequences, and that's just another death for Don Caruana on the Kindred. That's another 15 seconds that you have to spend in the fountain, and then potentially like another 30 seconds that you're not spending farming. Already behind in gold when it comes to, you know, the jungle matchup. When you're behind in gold versus the Warwick as Kindred, not an enviable position to be in. Now we also start to see the bot lane gap growing when it comes to gold. Yeah, the Fiendish Codex finish for the Cassiopeia already has enough money in the bank to buy that Liandry's Anguish on the next back. So once that comes in, it's going to be even harder for them to win 2v2. Well, I think at this point, I would argue it is not possible to win 2v2 for them, but it's going to be even harder to approach this Cassiopeia at all times. Don Cunningham trying to fight back against this Tahm Kench, but it's really hard. The bonus magic damage from the auto attacks, plus the grass procs coming in all the time. So durable, so hard to kill. Okay, nice CC chain, nice setup from La Mafia, but it wasn't enough, unfortunately. A little bit too far behind in items. Oh, now Eternal Ether trying to fight for vision, but he's going to get punished quite hard. Fortunately, the Petrifying Gaze was there to bail him out of that situation. Don Kosu in big trouble in the mid lane. All the CC in the world to get that kill. And yeah, did not even have the opportunity to use Flash there. The Juicy Boys just winning out on the map right now. The They're going to take down plates in the mid lane. The tower will not go down, but it is valuable gold. Well, all gold has value, but it is a valuable play for the Juicy Boys. Get the kill, plus the plates, a very nice influx of gold, and they're 2,000 up now. And I think going into the mid game, Mafia has a very tough nut to crack here. They don't really have the best initiation in the world. They have a jungler that is very far behind on items, that really relies on those items to do anything. And then also, you have other picks that are maybe not as item reliant as Kindred, but also need those items to function. And we're going to go into the mid game trying to maybe contest some of those dragons. The Juicy Boys already 2 up on that objective. And an early soul for the Juicy Boys would be extremely punishing for La Mafia here on blue side. Nice snare comes in into another snare, but the second snare actually misses. And it turns out La Mafia did not quite have the damage, but actually they do. Now the Shen ult comes in to save the Swain in the nick of time. And 2v2 finally goes the way of La Mafia, but here comes El Mapache. It's a 1v3. He's going in. He has the red buff. How much damage can he do? He gets 1 kill, but he's falling dangerously low with the Ignite. He could not Q in time to heal himself, and it's actually 3 kills now for La Mafia, only 1 for the Juicy Boys. So finally, a small fight that goes their way. This was definitely a step in the right direction.
Okay.
All things considered, they still need plenty of time to scale and actually reach that maximum effectiveness, but Wayne getting those 2 kills right here is going to potentially propel them enough where they can look for more risky plays in the future. Right now, they still really need those items. We have Crown of the Shattered Queen, the new item on Victor, protecting himself against some of the engage options that the Juicy Boys could go for when it comes to the mid game. The hook lands onto Don Caruana. Here comes Don Simeone. Here comes Don Caruana. Both junglers present in the bottom lane. The CC lands onto the La Mafia bottom lane, and now the Juicy Boys brought their mid laner to the action as well as the top laner. Everyone is invited to the party. And this is another skirmish that goes the way of the Juicy Boys, and they will take this turret potentially as a reward. Tomkench decides he does not want to tank that turret, but I don't think it matters very much. This tower will go down regardless. And also, the dragon coming up in 5 seconds. Now, I don't know if La Mafia has enough time to intercept this. Paul Jr. did go to base to buy some items. Okay, La Mafia will check. The dragon is indeed being taken, but there's not enough time to steal or try anything, even force the fight. But Juicy Boys will take dragon number 3, and now they're at soul point. And they will hit Dragon Soul potentially at only 21 minutes. And if they take that, even with all the scaling that La Mafia does possess, that could hinder their chances significantly. Just because of the extra regen and, you know, all the poke and sustained damage that you could negate. Warwick already a very tough champion to kill in a sustained fight. With that Ocean Soul, it's going to get even harder. Mafia, at least getting that second Rift Herald. We'll see what they will be able to do with it. When we look at the tower in the bottom lane, feels like that tower could be the target. Obviously, the plates are no longer important because they went down, so it's about which turret they can realistically take with little effort as possible. Now, Paul Jr. in a precarious situation. Nice final spark from downtown from Don Gomez, and very good teamwork from La Mafia. They get their kill, and this bottom lane is recovering. But now, Mishen is not getting out of this one. Oh, but is he? Very nice. Don Caruana. Lamb's Respite comes in at the right time, and oh my god, look at the Spirit Shield blocking all of those auto attacks. The Juicy Boys thought they had an easy kill, but it was far from easy. They actually paid with their lives, both of them. La Mafia, finally, they get stuff going. Now it's only a 1,000 gold lead for the Juicy Boys, actually. The game wasn't off to a good start, that's for sure, but now La Mafia are finding ways to put themselves back on the map here. The Rift Herald helps Shen take down that top lane turret, and now La Mafia, for the first time this game, they have a gold lead. But Don Cunningham, he's definitely way too far up here. Should have just been content with taking down that turret, and now he gives up a shutdown that was, in my opinion, quite easy to avoid. La Mafia definitely still in this, but Warwick is getting quite scary. Now I would like to see something like Spirit Visage against his team. Would have very good value against all of the AP threats on the other side, but regardless, here comes Warwick once again. First kill comes in, Vex with the follow-up. It should be another kill onto Don Kosu, but he survives with the Shen shield. And just the Juicy Boys potentially going too far for the play once again. They dive the turrets, but they get punished. The Kindred ult plus the Shen ult punishes all the aggressive attempts from the Juicy Boys. And it really feels like a back and forth. The Juicy Boys are trying to go for these plays that they are too risky. There's not enough damage behind them to try and justify aggressive plays like this. Especially when you're not tracking these important cooldowns that La Mafia will be looking to use every single fight. It's not the prettiest game right now, but one factor that hasn't changed is the dragon situation. The Juicy Boys still are 3 dragons to 0, and they'll be looking to contest this one as well. They do not want to give up this Drake. Almapache going super hard on this play, trying to face check for his team. Samwise Gumtree in a lot of trouble as well, has to pop Thick Skin just to survive. Now Vex into the backline, Don Kostu in trouble, but Crown of the Shattered Queen blocking a lot of damage, and it's La Mafia winning this fight. Petrifying Gaze stuns 4, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a factor. La Mafia just decisively winning this fight. The scaling comes into play. La Mafia are finally winning these fights. They're finally hitting their breakpoints. And if this was the Juicy Boys getting way too impatient on the start of this play, and La Mafia are taking everything they can right now. The Ace comes in, plus the Dragon, plus the Baron. This is a big swing in gold. The TP from the Tom Kedge, I don't know what can be done exactly about this Baron. He's looking for Miracle Steal. Maybe he can do it. But, brother, you don't have Smite. Didn't even W into the Baron to try and do something about that one. It's just another kill gifted. Right into the mobs of La Mafia. Man, Don Simeone is indeed having a very good game. After what happened in the early stages, all the kills that went the way of the Juicy Boys, yeah, absolutely. The bounce back from the La Mafia bot lane is quite remarkable. And now, finally, they are in control. They can decide what the next map play is going to be. We are no longer reacting to the plays that the Juicy Boys will be making. But now this potentially puts them in an even better position. When they are sieging like this, when they're attempting to take down these turrets, I feel like the Shen ult and the Kindred ult will be potentially a very nice addition. Don Cunningham actually avoiding these gank attempts super well. Now Don Simeone, he makes a very big mistake in the jungle of the Juicy Boys. Now Eternal Ether though, he's in trouble. He's compromised. It's a bit of a messy fight on two fronts right now. Don Cunningham killing the Warwick quite easily. Now the Hall Jr. with his combo does not have enough damage. Even with the CC coming in. The Kindred finally coming online as well. And La Mafia, they just decided, you know what? We're gonna beat your scaling with our own scaling. We're no longer the crazy team that was just going absolutely balls to the wall in the early stages of the regular season.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
We're just going to beat you with our scaling picks and just outplay in these fights. That's so far, that's what they've been doing. No inhibitor has gone down just yet, but it does feel like the Juicy Boys are looking a bit out of sorts here. The initiations are not hitting the way they're supposed to. The Warwick is feeling the hurt against these long-range mages. The Swain also very hard to kill, which means the Juicy Boys have to commit a lot harder to the play than they would like to. And this can put them in dangerous positions where they can get chain CC'd and bursted down. This is perhaps not the best damage profile, but the Mafia are making it work. And I feel like I have to question the lack of magic resistance on the jungler specifically. Samwise Gumtree building towards that Spirit Visage, but Pache going for a Thorn Mail against, I imagine, Swain would be the primary target. Would buy Bramble Vest against, but I guess, yeah, Kindred also has lifesteal in her items, but even then, I feel like just a simple Bramble Vest would suffice. But moving on to this dragon setup from La Mafia, the Juicy Boys are definitely not ready for this one. They will just be content with pushing down top and mid here. Actually, when it comes to this play, they can't even take down the mid turret right now. So it is quite low. The objective bounties, the new edition of preseason 12, has come online for the Juicy Boys. This will be additional help to them if they actually manage to win these fights. So right now, yeah, but all these siege attempts, everything that Mafia is doing, Juicy Boys don't really have an answer to that right now. Engages are not coming in super coordinated. Some frontline members are sometimes just getting caught out before the fight even officially begins, which make things that much harder for them. They really need those early picks to happen fast if they want to have a chance at winning this game still. But then you also have to consider the vision component. I feel like Mafia can really... They have the tools to play well around vision with this comp. Swain and Lux can look for picks, Victor can control a lot of space. So the approach is that much harder for the Juicy Boys here. We're looking to retake vision, but we're just not going to be let into this Baron pit. La Mafia are really insistent on controlling this area. They have all 3 lanes pushing right now, so for now, I think this is fine. They're going to look for a pick. The Juicy Boys trying to respond. Well, El Mapache going for the ultimate, but the Juicy Boys, regardless, just getting forced back here. The initiation does not matter. Don Cunningham now way behind enemy lines, but he's going to survive. Eternal Ether cannot even get that single pick. Lamb's Respite comes in clutch once more. And La Mafia have... Yeah, they've done what they came for. They forced the Juicy Boys back, and they're just going to start this objective. And it's going down extremely fast. The Juicy Boys, I don't think they'll even have a chance to try and steal this. El Mapache's running as fast as he can. We zoom out to see the Juicy Boys initiation, and they're going to try and win this fight despite the La Mafia members having Baron right now, but it's just 1 kill. It's not looking good at all. There's just not enough damage. It was a very desperate attempt at trying to make things right, but it only made things worse. And now La Mafia is looking to potentially put the finishing touches on this game. I mean, I was doubting a little bit when it came to, you know, the initiation options that La Mafia had potentially, as well as, you know, heavy scaling component that they had, but they made it work. Scaling is king in UNL, and La Mafia have shown just that, although now it's getting a little bit dicey. I don't think they'll be able to end this game. Don Caruana very low. Still auto-attacking though. Does not have the ultimate to protect himself, and it's going to be a shutdown towards the Vex. The resets come in, and the Juicy Boys defend their base, but I don't think this is enough just yet. They'll have to fight a lot harder to bring this back. Next Dragon's coming up in 30 seconds, and obviously the respawn timers are working in the favor of Juicy Boys, but time will tell if they can actually get to this objective in time and get it fast enough. El Mapache caught out by the combo, but does not take much damage from it. The damage resistance was active at the time. Once again, caught out by the CC. Don Kosu is already here. Respawn timers are running out for La Mafia. They will be able to get a fight here. The TP comes in on the top side of the fight. The Juicy Boys are trying to intercept it. Oh, now Bahal Jr. with a very nice dive into the backline, but he's quickly dispatched by the Victor. he did not have the help to survive from his team. Without Bazania's Hourglass, going for a play like that, you're instantly painted a target on your back. You're very vulnerable, and the Vex just dies immediately from all the Victor Burst. And now Juicy Boys are compromised. We are in a very, very dangerous spot here. Eternal Ether tries to get a kill, but Lamb's Respite again. It denies so much. And that kill will... Yep. That kill will put an end to it all, as well as the Nexus exploding. La Mafia take game 1 after a very... Well, the first 5 minutes of the game were not promising for La Mafia, to say the least, but they bounced back extremely well, and now we're at match point in this best of 3. I really thought Lethal Tempo would be the play here on Aurelia. I feel like on champions like Aurelia, Yone, Yasuo, Tryndamere, it is a very popular choice right now, but that just going to default towards that Conqueror, going for potentially maximum survivability in fights instead of more DPS. But sometimes that DPS can translate to more healing in Aurelia's case, so there are trade-offs, most definitely.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Juicy Boys trying to stay ahead of the curve here. We're trying to catch La Mafia on the invade. And La Mafia are certainly trying to set up for one right now. They are grouped on the other side, but I think they are also... Okay, they are going in. And this is going to be a standoff in the brush. Hall Jr. shows up a little bit too early, but it doesn't matter. The Juicy Boys have the upper hand in this one. Don Gomez running with his tail between his legs. Another CC lands onto Don Cunningham, who also flashes. But that flash does not save him in the end. It actually didn't even get him across the wall there. So the Juicy Boys, the level 1 works very much in their favor. So many summoners burned in the process. That's 4 summoners for La Mafia just taken off. Just like that. Only at the cost of the Ignite from Trev. So incredible value just from that level 1 counter invade. And now we move to the laning phase. Importantly, Don Kosu still has his flash. So if La Mafia want to look for aggressive plays around mid, they can still do so. Don Gomez caught 2 CCs landing on top of the fresh. Now La Mafia going for a counter trade versus their opponents, and Trev forced to use... Actually, Eternal Ether forced to use Exhaust here. Having a little freeze right now. Hopefully the game will soon unfreeze itself. Pretty please. I don't think anyone paused. Okay, there is a pause. I was wondering. Ah. I don't know why it froze on me, and I don't know why it initiated the pause. And I don't know why, you know, it didn't just snap back to the game. We're 10 minutes behind. Client is acting very strangely. Okay, nevertheless, we're back into this one. Tom Kench actually getting an advantage in this push. The full level lead for Don Cunningham. The top lane, not sure what happened in that spot. Mapache is actually going to look for his first gank. No 6 camps, is going to try and intercept the Aurelia. But Don Costa gets away. Now Don Simeone taking a lot of damage. The hook lands but will not be followed up on. This is the Juicy Boys getting exactly what they wanted in this bottom lane so far. We're getting lane leads. They usually pick for lane leads in the bottom lane. Now Don Cunningham getting ganged up on by the top lane and the jungler. Big Skin is going to proc, but the pillar is very nicely placed and there's more than enough damage to secure that kill. Now Don Simeone has to take the lantern to try and get away. Trev taking a lot of damage in response. There's no exhaust anymore to save the support. Trev has to flash, but here comes Don Caruana. Can he even secure one single kill onto the Swain? Not quite. But it takes away some of that pressure that the Juicy Boys were able to do. But yeah, given Don Simeone's health bar, he has to look for a recall very soon. Taking a recall right now, but Juicy Boys bottom lane is already moving towards their lane once again, and they will probably start hitting the minions in about 10 seconds or so. So it's possible that they'll be able to push this lane to the turret. So, yeah, the Mafia does not take the best recall here, but could have been worse. I think Don Caruana's presence definitely helped in this spot. Don Kosu not quite able to do what Aurelia was designed to do right now. Okay, he's going to go for a 1v2 fight. Paul Jr. has to flash away. Look at the health bar. She does not die. That was like 10 health. That was like 10, 20 health at most. Well, Hall Jr. survives that 1v2. Egg does not even pop. So Don Kosu has no way to heal back from Conqueror in that spot. Just an easy kill for the Juicy Boys. They play around mid a lot. Even in the previous seasons, when the Hall Jr. was also part of the team, this was also true. Continues to be a steady part of your game plan. It pays off. Especially against the Aurelia, who's going to be looking for these aggressive moments. Needs to get ahead. And then try to stay ahead. This kind of presence from Hecarim could go a long way. Now we see Trundle really in a lot of, well, Tom Kench in a lot of trouble versus the Trundle. Cannot quite match the damage with a press the attack. Now Don Simeone caught up in that never move, but the Lantern is doing a lot of work here. Don Kosu finding the stun now. Going to get the additional auto attacks as well. Nivea falling dangerously low in the mid lane. The egg actually procs. The TP from Samwise Gumtree to try and save his mid laner, but it's too late. And now Don Caruana with a nice flash. Don Kosu should probably just be auto attacking the Trundle. I don't know if he can get away from this spot. Okay, he was just waiting for his stun. Now Samwise Gumtree. W runs out. There's not enough damage, but Hecarim comes into the rescue. And Elva Pache, his presence in the mid lane, continues to pay dividends. It's another kill for the Juicy Boys. And this early game is going all according to plan so far. All the lanes in a good position. Don Caruana's heart was definitely in the right place, but could not really solidify any leads from these gank attempts so far. Now we definitely finally hit a calmer point in this game. Action has gone down. It's Juicy Boys firmly in the lead, but now another 2v2 kill coming in. Eternal Ether is angry. And Don Simeone is the victim, but what a nice combo from Don Caruana. Eternal Ether in a lot of trouble, has to pop the stopwatch. Perfect timing for rune choice. Definitely coming in handy in that position. Don Caruana does not have the flash, so cannot follow up on this play, but it was a very good mechanical display from him. Now Don Kosu trying to push in the wave, could be punished once again by El Mapache. He pops the ghost. He probably will be able to just get this kill. A Devour though, with the bonus shield from the Tom Kench, this could actually be a turnaround. Don Cunningham with the Devour, so clutch. El Mapache actually takes that kill though. Was not a double kill for Villarelia, so close. So close to working out there, but not quite enough damage. Vamp Scepter almost healed Villarelia to threshold she was looking for, but the Juicy Boys salvage that play a little bit. And it's still a 3,000 gold lead for the red team. And I think importantly for Juicy Boys, the front line is looking mighty healthy. The Trundle is winning his matchup decisively. The Hecarim is ahead of his jungle opponent. And he will hit that Divine Sunder Power Spike just in time for the early dragon fights. Yeah, now that I mentioned that, no team has yet decided to go for that dragon. But I think if Juicy Boys continue to play like this, I think a window to take that dragon will open up quite early. I mean, quite soon. Keep pushing in this wave, continue to create priority for their jungler. But now La Mafia are trying to do something about this. The engage comes in, the explosive cask misses. The TP in response from the Juicy Boys as well as La Mafia. It's another big fight in the bottom lane, but it now is the Juicy Boys coming out on top. Big time. 2 kills already coming in. Don Cunningham with his TP cannot really contribute much to this fight. They will just have to, well, Don Cunningham now has nowhere to go. Trev is tanking the turret. Has to use stopwatch though. Not have tanked the turret more than that. Eternal Ether now in trouble, does not have the flash anymore. I don't think Juicy Boys can continue with this play. They'll have to settle for that. And I don't know if they can even take the dragon down. The dragon attempt was delayed by the play in the bottom lane, and now La Mafia could actually take it for themselves. Because the bottom lane of Juicy Boys is forced to go back. Samwise Gumtree in the meantime, taking the plate in the top lane in the absence of the Don Cunningham, assisting his jungler with the first break of the game.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
Don Caruana still looking for some opportunities. Yeah, interestingly, it's a lost chapter purchase for Don Caruana and not the Hextech Alternator. I think with the Everfrost being cheaper by 400 gold, this could be another option for Gragas in the new preseason. As I say that, there's another attempt by La Mafia to get things going, but the Juicy Boys have their own TP to respond to this. But here comes the TP from the Aurelia. So it's 2 kills early on for the Juicy Boys. Oh, now Don Kosu caught in that CC, but he has a lot of lifesteal. Quite dangerous to take down. So not the end of the world for La Mafia, but they still lose out on this play. Not quite as big as they would like. Almapache going for this 1v1 against Don Cunningham, but I don't know if he has the damage. I guess he does. A fully stacked Rampage is enough. I doubt it if he had enough. Oh no! Oh no! Almost falls to the Tom Kedge. That was a lot closer than he would have liked, that's for sure, but yeah, with Divine Sunderer completed, he has enough damage. He did not need the Conqueror to secure that kill. The Juicy Boys will have a very, very fed jungler. But will just be able to go where he pleases in these fights. Now the Herald is looking to be the next objective on the target of Juicy Boys. Oh, now we see Eternal Ether in big trouble. The CC chain lands, the Flame Chompers onto the Swain, the Exhaust as well. They're really trying to trying to do everything to take down the Swain, but he's just too tanky right now. Don Simeone, even with a finished Gale Force, does not have enough in the tank to take down the Swain and this bottom lane. Continuing to fall behind in the matchup. Juicy Boys going for what works best for them. These AP bottom lanes, these magic damage heavy compositions. This is where they feel most comfortable, and they finally found something that works. We hear Don Kosu going for a 1v1. Anivia has the egg, but with Tom Kench being able to assist as well as the Gragas, this should just be a kill. But Devourer onto the egg. Don Cunningham trying to have some scrambled eggs for breakfast, but El Mapache to the rescue, already getting 2 kills from this play. He does not have Conqueror to heal himself up. Nice attempt to escape with a devastating charge. Does he have... Yes, he has the W to heal himself! And the Tongue Lash is blocked by the minions. El Mapache gets away. What a play from El Mapache. He's absolutely smurfing it up on Summoner's Rift this game. Cannot be killed by anyone. Amazing stuff so far in this second game from GC Boys jungler, and now Ton Simeone, the big slow comes in. A Gale Force not in time to dodge the CC, and this is another kill for Eternal Ether. This is entering dangerous territory officially for La Mafia. When your best late game option is behind like this in lane, you have to start worrying about your potential chances going into the mid game. Now the Herald's up, the Dragon will soon be up. GC Boys have the priority, but Don Kosu is going to have none of that. He continues to go for the solo kills in the mid lane, and now Don Caruana is here to assist. Shut down onto the Swain. That's a hefty amount of gold into his pockets. Now he's going to pay the price, I'm afraid. Not enough. Oh, Don Cunningham once again saving his teammate's bacon right there. He did it with the Shen in the first game. Now he does it with the Tom Kench. He's denying a lot of kills in both games so far.
Red team has slain the dragon.
He's definitely a guardian angel for some of the Mafia's players right now, but that doesn't really change the landscape of the game. Juicy Boys, they still have a very, very big gold lead. They secured themselves the second dragon, and they're on track to forcing a game 3 here. Especially when you consider the scaling difference between these two teams. Mafia right now in the best, not in the best of spots, but there's also the Swain. The Hecarim is way ahead of schedule when it, when you consider his items right now. Don Cunningham is definitely not in the position he wants to be in. He had no business defending that tower, and he's just going to give up a very easy death to the Juicy Boys. Now, the Mafia have swapped their bot lane towards mid to try and stay safe, but I don't think they can stay safe enough from this Hecarim. Gale Force used by the Jinx, but does not mean anything when Almapache can just force situations like this every time his ultimate is up. Very nice cast from Eternal Ether. From Don Caruana, but now he's up against the wall. There's literally no escape for him in that situation. And it just goes from bad to worse for La Mafia. Another nice hook. And Eternal Ether is finally going to fall. And I think Trev is going to die as well, so Don Cunningham... Yep, unfortunate circumstances, but he's been doing well. The Mafia is still a long way to go. But they have champions that could potentially turn the tides here. It is an objective bounty secured by La Mafia, but oh my goodness, the Trundle damage. He's extremely strong. And can Aurelia actually take him in a fight? Trundle does not have Bramble Vest. The damage is coming in. It's quite a lot.
Red team's turret has been
The
destroyed.
pause is forced. Okay, we'll probably just skip through it. I don't think it's actually a pause. Yeah, well, you can see how that ended. The pause was not a pause, and the Aurelia dies in that exchange. So did not quite have the damage, but you can see that it's getting quite scary in the side lane. I think if enough time passes, Aurelia could actually grow into a quite formidable threat. But obviously right now it's still the Juicy Boys in the driver's seat, and they're pushing La Mafia out of their jungle. And it's back to the Baron, back to threatening these neutral objectives, playing around vision. They're looking to force another fight, but Devour onto Don Simeone, but it's too late to save her AD carry. It's just going to be more and more kills coming in for the Juicy Boys. Put another one on the tab. Don Cunningham also almost dies, but the Lantern is there in time to save him. And that's just an easy Baron take coming in for the Juicy Boys. All that La Mafia can really get in response is a tower. They will take it. So that's another objective bounty coming into fruition. But yeah, that's still Juicy Boys ahead by 9,000 gold with the Baron buff online.
Red team has slain Baron Nashor.
I think some more turrets are bound to go down here. So So with the top lane already pushed in, it looks like the Juicy Boys will just transition straight towards the dragon and then possibly move towards the bottom lane after that. They have the positioning. Doesn't look like Mafia are very interested in even contesting this one.
Red team has slain the dragon.
It's going to fall quite easily into the hands of the Juicy Boys, and they're going to put 4 mid and a lone Trundle in the side lane versus the Aurelia. Trundle has built himself a Bramble Vest, so with the current items, I feel like he should be able to be victorious against the Aurelia. But even if he's not successful, he has his jungler to help. Apache hovering between mid and bottom, looking for a chance to do something here. Doesn't quite look like Juicy Boys have good enough siege to force the issue, but they have a Trundle on the side lane. He's pushing down those turrets. As long as Juicy Boys can maintain pressure consistently in both lanes at once, they will be able to do significant damage to those towers. The bot lane inner turret has gone down. Minion waves in mid and bottom continue to pour in towards Mafia's base.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
They have to do something eventually, but the Hecarim initiation once again onto the Jinx. How much can Juicy Boys do here? Apache, quite dangerous spot here. Juicy Boys get the first kill of the fight, but now it's Mafia with a very nice turnaround. Aurelia coming in into the team fight, gets the shutdown. 1,000 gold onto the Aurelia. That's going to be absolutely massive. Juicy Boys to get that inhibitor, but again, it's Mafia who, well, they find a way to crawl themselves back into the game, and while it's far from a lost cause for the Juicy Boys, but you have to wonder, like, is it gonna happen again? The Juicy Boys really have to be careful when it comes to the fights they decide to take. Because, yeah, it can easily turn on its head just like that. The Mafia may not have the better scaling comp as it stands, but they still have talented players individually who are able to turn the tides. Actually, Aurelia going for a Kraken Slayer, that's quite interesting. I was expecting her to finish the build off with a shield bow. Guess this is more oriented towards the side lane, just trying to kill the Trundle as fast as possible, or just get a better chance in that side lane matchup. I think for team fights, the shield bow would definitely, well, now that if you flip the situation a little bit, shield bow can provide more sustain in the side lane, while Kraken may be just better in terms of
Blue team's turret has
a
been destroyed.
very quick burst combo. Just wondering what the rationale is behind this choice versus the shield bow, because I don't really see it built a lot when I see many players going for the Aurelia pick. It's usually the shield bow, or it used to be the Gore Drinker as well. Juicy Boys still on the offensive, but the Mafia staying strong. Aurelia still in the side lane, getting the farm, getting stronger and stronger as the game goes on. Juicy Boys a little bit apprehensive when it comes to this mid lane push. They want to take down the inhibitor, but they don't want to overextend, just like they did last time. Might be spread too thin in this case. Hecarim actually walking out of base right now. They don't have their most fed member right now, but you have to be careful. But the dragon is coming up shortly, and it doesn't look like La Mafia is ready to move out of her base just yet. I feel like if they lose the fight, that could very well spell the end of the game. So any move they take, it has to be very careful and calculated right now. They cannot afford to do anything rash. It's still not the sole point for the Juicy Boys, luckily for them. But Super Mega Death Rocket actually whiffs. I was expecting it to hit from that angle. Somehow it whiffs. No Dragon Steel for La Mafia. But they stay strong despite the odds. It's not the end of the world for them. With that said, Jinx still needs a lot more time. The items are not quite there yet. Working towards that LDR, but not much else going on right now. Gale Force mostly just for the additional mobility versus the skill shots and the Anivia, I imagine. But the Juicy Boys are just going to start the Baron, and it's not being contested by La Mafia. They're just focused on defending, not really focused on contesting. And they're hoping that they can withstand this push. Don Kosu is quickly approaching that 4 item mark here. I think quite soon he's going to be able to afford that Sterix gauge. But for now he's still on sideline duty, making sure that the Trundle does not enter the base. Juicy Boys are just outright going to try and take the inhibitor. La Mafia could not respond to it, but I think at some point they will have to make a defensive play to try and save their base. Because right now they're getting spread too thin. Don Caruana procs a Predator, but the engage does not come from La Mafia, and the third inhibitor is under attack. Jinx once again has to be devoured by her Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench, though, able to tank a lot of damage. Finally, the Juicy Boys initiation comes in, but it's once again not quite good enough right now. Don Kosu able to take down one target, but eventually he falls down. The GA was not there to help. Not enough survivability, and the Juicy Boys this time, I think, there will be nothing left to stop them from taking down the base. And we're up to 1-1 in this series. The Juicy Boys fight back versus La Mafia. This one is not over yet. About it, but we're going to decide against it. We're not going to see level 1 Carnage. Wow. I'm pretty sure their thought process was like, but what if they're doing the 5-man defend again? If they're doing a 5-man defend again, we're probably screwed. And, yep, they do not want to go through that again. So there'll be no casualties level 1 this time. The Mafia going for the fake leash bot lane. They're trying to hide where their jungler started. And I'm not sure if the Juicy Boys have the appropriate intel in this case. Malphite actually getting some damage in level 1, but every Q is a lot of mana that he has to spend just to get that 80 damage onto the Trundle, and the Trundle does not really care. He probably mostly shrugged off that damage. In the Malphite case, is probably just you know, mitigate the losses, try to scale up to be useful for the team, because the side lane matchup is not going to go your way. It's mostly just going to be about your ultimate and not much else. This is potentially the calmest early game. Oh, wow. Wow, Caster Curse. Immediately, good plans from Don Gomez. It's first blood for Don Simeone. Why did I even open my mouth? Why did I do it? Immediate Caster Curse. You've never seen a faster Caster Curse in your life. Admit it. You've never seen a fastest cursor... Cursor? Fastest curse in the West. There we go. Interesting. Okay, now El Mapache trying to get some kind of response going. A little bit of a compromised position here for Don Cunningham. The flash doesn't come in early to try and evade that damage. Oh, now it comes in. Actually creates enough distance between himself and Samwise Gumtree. But the laning position, the way the wave is set up right now, Don Cunningham will be forced to use that TP. It's not looking great. Wave pushing away from him right now. Oh, he does not go for the TP, actually. You look at this wave, and I'm pretty sure the Trundle can just get a freeze going. Though he hasn't backed yet. So, laning power is reduced right now, but he's probably going to have this wave sat right in front of his tower. Is going to make things quite hard for Malphite. Now, the one explanation I could give you is that Don Cunningham is trying to save his TP for when the inevitable 2v2 fight comes up again. If he used it now, he wouldn't have it for level 6, but now he's in trouble again, and now flashless. He's going to pay the price once again, and Samwise Gumtree is going to get a kill in this 1v1. Well, no longer 1v1, because the jungler was there. Juicy Boys got what they came for. Now Eternal Ether pops Ghost, tries to juke his way out of the situation, but it's not going to work. Don Gomez with another great initiation. This time, Don Caruana has a good early game. Definitely a much better one than in game 1. Where he was basically 0-3-0, not really much of a threat until much later in the game. Don Caruana, after that successful gank, he's just going to start with Dragon. The bot lane is assisting him, but here comes El Mapache. He's looking at a potential steal right now, but he doesn't have the assist of his team yet. Now he's getting attacked by the members of La Mafia, but it's a good fight for the Juicy Boys. Don Costu does not have his ultimate yet. No one has their ultimates. The TPs are expended for what? For what exactly? La Mafia should have just bailed out. Should have just called it quits. The moment it started going wrong for them, it should have just been called off, but they commit to this dragon without the necessary ultimates to fight. And it's the Juicy Boys who take advantage of that. Samwise Gumtree actually getting further and further ahead in this matchup. It's getting quite tough for them. Now Don Kosu forced to use Slicing Maelstrom purely for defensive purposes. Ah, yes. The new preseason strat. The new preseason strats just make sure you're ahead, but make sure you're not too far ahead because you don't want objective bounties to proc. Now this is the true 500 IQ moves that we want to see in UNL. People are calculating this stuff to the extremes, it seems. Well, Mafia does not want to have a 5,000 gold lead because bounty is bad. And here comes El Mapache with a gank of his own. Hook lands onto Soraka, but Don Gomez is going to regret that decision. Gets sent back to the fountain immediately. The situation in the bot lane is stabilized now for the Juicy Boys. So as I say that, Don Caruana is looking for another gank, and he has Lamb's Respite ready in case something dangerous happens. But the Juicy Boys do not have TPs yet to try and respond to this play. So it's just going to be a flash burn from the Cassiopeia. You can see the trouble that the Malphite has found himself in now that he used his TP to try and help his other laners on the map without his ultimate. Now that Trundle has full control over the lane, he has superior items. And it's not looking good for the Rockman. Gonna have to wait a long time until he actually gets enough items to be a consistent force in the team fights. So, in the case of Malphite, I guess it doesn't really matter how far you fall behind. Most of your power is in the ultimate. That's all you really care about. But sometimes you have to burn that ultimate to escape a gank. And now I think the Juicy Boys will feel emboldened to try and secure the Rift Herald as fast as possible. Potentially. I think they're looking for it. But on the other side, it's a 2v2 fight, and the Juicy Boys are winning it hard. Cassiopeia sustained damage. Is hurt. Yep, that's a lot of hurt. That's a lot of poison. Don Simeone did not have his ultimate. It's a very easy 2v2 kill for the Juicy Boys. Yeah, we're trying to kill two birds with one stone here. They might just do it. Ranger's in a lot of trouble. Oh, the Blast Scone denies the heal from Lamb's Respite, and Don Caruana falls. Successful invade from the Juicy Boys. Numbers advantage used very effectively, and this Rift Herald is just going to be secured by them as well. Just trying to get every single neutral objective on the map. Samwise Gumtree in an even better spot now. Really looking quite tough for our man in the top lane for La Mafia. Already 2 levels down, I imagine Samwise Gumtree has enough for Divine Sunderer when he goes back to base. There it is. While Don Cunningham is just sitting on a very sad Bramble Vest. Paul Jr. potentially in some danger, but he sniffs out the gank. Don Kosu is still looking for that first protocol power spike. He actually bought Nicole as well. So that power spike could come even faster. Oh, he's sitting at 2,400 gold right now. I feel like he really should try and find a space to recall very soon. If they're looking to take that dragon fight, I think the window is about to come for them. So now Don Caruana's taking the recall himself. They're not really timing all of this correctly. Don Cunningham now again has to ult away just to keep himself alive. And now even if he decides to TP, he's not going to be very effective. So the Mafia still see the jungler on the other side of the map, and they think maybe this is the angle. And also, it does look like the Mafia are, the Juicy Boys are committed to this play. They will take down the turret. They will put this top laner in an even better position. The Trundle is going to be positively smashing in the top lane
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
with all the additional gold that he's just received. And the Chemtech Drake is the consolation prize for the La Mafia. Obviously, Malphite is no longer the focus, but he never was. Right now it's all on the cannon, I feel like. The cannon could be the star of the show. If Don Kosu can get good ultimates, he can find the right positioning onto someone like Cassiopeia and Soraka before they can actually use their ultimates. That could be a true game changer. But right now, La Mafia are not looking so hot. Okay, the cannon just hit rank 2 on his ultimate. Still farming very well. Paul Jr. does not really pose much of a threat, it seems, on this Ahri. Don Costa was just perfectly fine with farming and getting to his item spikes. Potentially a dangerous situation here for the Juicy Boys, just letting the cannons scale up without much of a threat from the other side. So they will have to watch out for this cannon and the objective fights that are soon to come. And the TP from the cannon, he actually comes in for the play, but the TP from the other side, the Juicy Boys, Don Kostu commits with the flash and slicing Maelstrom, but he's way too far ahead of his team. The team is busy fighting the Trundle, but he's facing off against 3 people and he's not dying. The Juicy Boys take the fight very easily. The engage was not coordinated from La Mafia, and that's just going to be another tower going their way.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
This could have been a good play if it was orchestrated better, but La Mafia did not quite do it fast enough, efficiently enough. Samwise Gumtree so quick with these tower takes. Are they going to commit to this? I don't think so. Bundle with no mana left, I don't think they can afford to fight here. Yeah, that was definitely the play that La Mafia was looking for, but did not quite hit the mark. And Cannon with that TP will be much less scary, I think. I mean, obviously, Juicy Boys have to time that summoner spell. As well as the flash on the cannon, like definitely timing both of these is very important. If you don't want to get caught off guard versus this champion, you have to monitor his summoner spells consistently. Otherwise, you could be in for a nasty surprise. But right now, Juicy Boys are still well ahead of their opponents. They're taking the second Rift Herald. It's very likely that it's just going to be put down mid. Take down that last outer turret that is still remaining. Although, again, the Juicy Boys don't really have the best siege. I feel like their best option is to just go for sustained fights consistently. Now Don Kosu flashless, rooted in place, silenced. There's no escape from that combo. And it's about as easy as it can get for the Juicy Boys. They get that pick with pretty much no effort. And the dragon follows shortly after. Very nice sequence of events there for the Juicy Boys. They actually trundled in the Rift Herald. So I think whenever Juicy Boys, or rather La Mafia, commit to something else on the map, Trundle can just make use of that Rift Herald and start really bashing down on some of these turrets. Maybe even take down an inhibitor turret if the timing is good enough. Right now, it's quite apparent that Malphite has no means of fighting back. Still building towards that first item. Really stunted compared to this opponent. La Mafia, we have to wonder what's their next move here. Ideally, you want to look for picks, but yep, there has been no such coordinated effort from them so far. Cannon is still strictly planted in the side lane. Not really doesn't really constitute much of a threat right now. His TP is about to be up though. That is another window that is opening up for La Mafia here. But if he's going to spend it, it has to be on something big. If he's going to spend it, it has to be for a big fight that opens up something like Baron. The dragon is not going to be up until 24 minutes into this game. Oh my goodness, Eternal Ether with the finished Leandri's Anguish and Seraph's is just wailing on Swain. No mercy whatsoever. Also, I mean, you see this situation, I don't think this is what La Mafia wants to be doing on the map. When Kennen is isolated like this, in the 1v1 versus the Trundle, it's like, what can you possibly do? I mean, in that situation, at least, Malphite is freed from his duties, but we don't see La Mafia going for anything. Instead, it's the Juicy Boys initiating. They have the numbers advantage. Don Caruana using Lamb's Respite, but he's only going to survive for like an extra 2 seconds. Juicy Boys are going to take down this turret. And finally, Don Kosu with the TP. How much can he do in this fight? He can only kill one person because the fight is already over before he even gets there. And that just means the Juicy Boys can take tower number 1, and then probably the inhibitor turret as well. Probably too early to take down the inhibitor. They will not go for it. Intelligently enough, the inhibitor stays down. Now with another fight won decisively by the Juicy Boys. They have ample time to set up for another objective. Samwise Gumtree left alone to defend this tower, but yeah, one champion is not enough to protect mid lane. Outer turret is just going to fall. Is it? Wow. That ranged minion doing a lot of work there. The objective bounty is secured for La Mafia. The first of many if they want to come back into this game. Of course, the petty side of me requires me to talk about itemization choices. What I'm going to mention is the cannon. And I really don't like that Zonya's Hourglass, but right now, I don't really have time to talk about that, I guess, because Eternal Ether's in a lot of trouble, and now the Juicy Boys are coming in to help. But it's La Mafia with the first kill, and the Malphite comes in with a TP. This is looking very good for La Mafia. Finally, they find the fight they were looking for right before a dragon comes up. Finally, it's the correct timing for this team. Definitely a big step forward. Now Hall Jr. looking for something, but he's way too out of position. Wow, Lamb's Respite actually denies that kill. Very nicely done. Hall Jr. might not be safe under that turret. Oh, obviously the Kindred is left doing that Drake. It's already down. La Mafia takes that kill on top of everything that they've taken previously. They're going to take this tower down as well. That's another objective bounty going the way of La Mafia. And just like that, we're back to almost an even footing. Bounties are quite powerful, but you know what else is powerful? Baron. That's about to go down because Juicy Boys have the tempo and La Mafia doesn't. They're trying to run straight to the Baron, but they will not be in time to intercept. Very conscious play from the Juicy Boys. At least they get that one back. But Trundle should be untouchable in the side lane now, and especially with his Baron. Another pause comes. The pause was taking so long, but it happened again. Oh, why is the client trolling me today? I wanted this one to be over. Oh, La Mafia trying to set up a Death Brush pretty early. 3 minutes before the objective spawns. I don't think the Juicy Boys are gonna fall for that one. Gonna get a push going mid. But only for a very short time. The Juicy Boys are just going to keep going. Both mid and top. Samwise Gumtree is still. You still don't want to mess with this guy. John Cunningham has to flash very early just to try and get away from that. This time he doesn't want to use his ultimate though. I guess thinking that it could actually be useful in the fight to come. Because La Mafia is actually going for this engage. Eternal Ether going super hard onto the Swain. Both champions pressing Zhonya's, pressing their buttons, but as Don Simeone is going to come out on top of his play. Now it's the Juicy Boys with the Baron buff. Very easy inhibitor take. We're going to fall back right after they do that. Baron buff is still running for a little while, so maybe they can get a push going after this. We're still looking quite strong, and right now, most important objective coming up is the dragon in 1 minute's time. Uh-oh. Eternal Ether will have to fight back here, but he's bursted down immediately. And the Soraka quickly follows. And this was not the objective setup that the Juicy Boys wanted. This Infernal Dragon is just going to go the way of La Mafia. They can afford to send one person to defend. They can just take down this dragon, and the Juicy Boys cannot fight this one. Should not be the ones to face check first. And this is how it ends, unfortunately, with La Mafia taking that Infernal Dragon for themselves. But now it's the Juicy Boys looking to kill Don Simeone in a 1v2 situation, but he continues to stay alive. May not have the damage, but he's quite tanky. Quite hard to pin down here. Sonya is quite effective against two mainly physical damage dealers. No Cassiopeia to shred him to bits. Okay, now we'll see what the play is from La Mafia. Kennen is slowly but surely getting towards that Rabadon's. I feel like he should have that ready in the next minute or so. Oh, but now another engage. Soraka just trying to take down Vision, but La Mafia are there to respond immediately. This is exactly what they should be doing, but they have another problem on their hands, and that is the Trundle. Kennen uses the ultimate, but Trundle does not feel it whatsoever. He's absolutely unfazed in this side lane. And like I said before, planting the cannon in the side lane is not doing La Mafia any favors. It's just going to make things worse. Now Samwise Gumtree is just going to plain ignore the Malphite. He's going to go for the inhibitor. Malphite cannot kill him, try as he might. It's going to take too long to try and whittle down his health bar, and Juicy Boys are taking the Baron at the same time. Don Cunningham could use the TP, but right now he's just trying to deal with Trundle, taking down the base. He's still going at it. He has so much sustain. Look at Don Cunningham trying to hit him, but it's not enough. It's not going to be enough. He requires so much attention. Just like the same way he did it against Last Riders on the Nasus. Right now, Samwise Gumtree on the Trundle is proving to be too hard to deal with for La Mafia. They want a team fight, but they're forced to respond to the Troll King every time he shows up at your base. You have to do something about it.
Trace to your heart's content.
So the team fights may not be the cleanest from the Juicy Boys, but the side lane threat is very, very consistent. La Mafia still have no way to deal with this Trundle, and I don't think they ever will have a way to deal with him. Unless, well, Kindred is getting to that really dangerous point in the game. With 3 items now, 60% crit, Infinity Edge passive activated as well. LDR potentially coming next. So that's a lot of damage once again on the side of Don Caruana. Samwise Gumtree still with that Baron buff continues to hit the towers. Look at this healing from the Trundle. He got so much from that Subjugate. The Malphite's resistances went down significantly fast. On the other side, the Juicy Boys are initiating a fight, but they're kind of losing it. So maybe not the best of spots, but so does it really matter when the Trundle is just taking down the base on his own? The Juicy Boys, they don't have to do anything. The Mafia are trying to take down Infernal Soul, but oh man. The Malphite uses his TP. He uses his TP to try and secure this Drake, but that could bite them. This Trundle is still inside of your base with an incoming minion wave. Finally, Don Caruana has to come in to try and save the situation. But Samwise Gumtree is not going to die. And Don Caruana is actually not going to die to the Trundle, but he's almost going to die to the super minions flooding the base. They cannot possibly deal with this threat. Eternal Ether flashes in! 1v3 spot! Can he steal the dragon? Zhonya's Hourglass popped! Okay, they take down the Infernal Drake. The Infernal Soul is theirs. But look at the base again. Trundle is on your doorstep, and you have to kill him. And the Kindred does so. Actually secures 1 mark as well. Well, all things said and done, La Mafia have come out of the situation hurt, but not killed. And they do have the ever-present scaling threat of the Kindred, plus the Infernal Soul on top of that. So if anyone can 1v9 in this game right now, it's probably Don Caruana on this Kindred. Obviously, the Cannon can still do a lot of work with his ultimate, but as we've already seen, he's mostly been trying to stop the Trundle to no avail. That's never worked because, well, all that sustain versus the heavily front-loaded damage of the Cannon is just not going to work. Funnily enough, look at who has a gold lead right now. It's a little bit funny that the team that is 3 inhibitors down and with their Nexus almost exposed, they're the ones who actually are leading in terms of gold. I think, has anyone seen a situation like this before? Because this is something else. I guess it's easy to farm and gain gold when minions are constantly heading towards your base. And, well, and there's a lot of them. But it feels like the Juicy Boys should have a way into La Mafia's base, but they're just making so many mistakes right now. Hall Jr. falls first. Meanwhile, Don Kosu is getting absolutely bashed by Vistrundle. And this is quite dangerous. Very early ultimate from Don Caruana, just try and deny that burst. He's actually going to kill the Hecarim, and he's going to survive. But look at the base. You know what's happening in the base? La Mafia is trying to stop Vitrundle, but tower is down. And everyone else but Vitrundle is down. They actually managed to do it. They defend the base.
Blue team double kill.
They defend the base. They keep going. They take Baron Nashor. The game is still on. The Juicy Boys cannot end the game. Objective bounties. Can you say objective bounties? This game was brought to you by Objective Bounties. Oh my god, how is this game going? How are we still going, guys? Why is Juicy Boys involved in every single 50-minute fiesta in this league? It's actually scary consistent. Or put into another situation where they just cannot end the game. But now, what? In this case, they have to end the game. Otherwise, their tournament run is over. The stakes cannot be higher than this. Maybe soon, Juicy Boys will have objective bounties. But there won't be a lot of objective bounties to take. Oh no, El Mapache uses Onslaught of Shadows, but does not go through the wall. And the Kindred shreds him so quickly. And it's another kill for the Soraka. But look at Trouble in the base! He's going to take down the Nexus, he's going to try! But actually, there's enough damage between the Kindred and the Kennen. It was very important that the Kindred got to base safely. And now it's La Mafia pushing down mid lane with the Baron buff. Look at the death timers. They can take so much of the Juicy Boys base. I don't know if this is the end of the game. But I think La Mafia will very well try.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
I think La Mafia will try to end this right here.
Destroyed.
Look at the wave on the others. Look at the wave on the bot side of the map. But it doesn't matter to La Mafia, but we'll try to force down the Nexus turrets and the Nexus. They are going to take this game. La Mafia.